ABC News 4 at 5 starts now.
Tonight at 5, we are following two developing stories. The Broward County School Superintendent calling it a horrific day. Multiple fatalities after a school shooting in Parkland, Florida. A suspect has been arrested.
And in the last hour, the first picture of a person of interest in the Heidi Todd case. 5 minutes ago, the reward jumped to $20,000.
And the wish and prayer of the Todd family is simply to find Heidi safely.
This is the man officials say they want to speak to in regards to the disappearance of that 4-year-old Heidi Todd. As you see, he has a lightning bolt on one cheek and flames on the other.
Police have been looking for 4-year-old Heidi Todd since just before 6 last night. There is still tonight little known in the case. The search is centered on a Johns Island neighborhood, Whitney Lake. Dive teams were out this morning. They've since stopped searching the water of that particular pond.
And this is also what we have just learned. The mother's car was towed from the home early this morning, and police say they are confident that Heidi Todd is not in the body of water near that home. The first call of the incident came in just before 6 o'clock last night at 5:50.
Officials say at some point an unwanted guest entered the home. They say the woman was only able to give them a limited description of the man. She is currently in the hospital, listed in fair condition.
We do have team coverage of the search for Heidi Todd tonight. We start with Ann Emerson. She has been talking to neighbors all day. Ann?
That's right. Neighbors in this Whitney Lake area of Johns Island just cannot believe that a 4-year-old has just vanished. They say this neighborhood is extremely safe. They talk about leaving their doors open and children playing in the street, and it is something they just never expected. We met Laura Hutchinson out walking her 2-year-old today. She was up late with her husband searching for the child last night after hearing about the missing child, and today the search continues. Law enforcement was scouring the area in boats, helicopters, and with teams on the ground, all hoping to find something that would lead them to the little girl.
It's definitely a concern because we moved to this neighborhood last March under the impression that it was one of the safest neighborhoods on Johns Island, and so now we're a little uneasy about that, but we're just trying to stay positive, especially today.
And so is everybody saying a special prayer. In fact, we hear there's going to be a vigil tonight around 7 p.m. That's what we're hearing right now possibly out in this area. And everybody is waiting to see what these developments are going to be. We're going to be talking to some more neighbors this evening at 5:30. So coming up, we'll have a little bit more information for you about the people here in this community and what they're thinking. Working for you, Ann Emerson, ABC News 4.
All right, Dan, thank you. Neighbors like Laura were out searching late into the night. The Charleston Fire Department asked those people to go back home just before 11 so crews could complete their searches.
The first official confirmation from police did not come until 10:30 last night. Then around 12:30 this morning, Charleston police offered that generic description of someone Heidi may be with, a skinny, tall Hispanic man. They also said state police would issue a BOLO. Dive teams then suspended their search around 3 in the morning and resumed the search at 7 a.m.
And that is when ABC News 4's Bill Burr arrived on Johns Island. And Bill, what is the scene like now?
Dean and Ashley, there is still a heavy police presence in the neighborhood. As you mentioned moments ago, it has shifted away from Whitney Lake, and we see a lot of it just behind me. This is the house on Sweet Leaf Lane where police showed up late yesterday afternoon, and that's where they found the body of a bloody mother, as she could barely speak and talk to investigators. Officers, though, did not find Heidi Todd at this location. Now, Charleston police, sheriff's deputies, DNR, SLED, and FBI agents canvassed the community by air and by land for several hours today. They searched for clues that could lead them to the little girl. Investigators also spent a lot of time at a house on Sweet Leaf Lane. That's where Charleston police discovered the badly beaten mother on Tuesday afternoon. Officers stopped by when officials from a school notified them the mom hadn't picked up 2 kids. Authorities say 2 other children were also inside the home, but Heidi Todd was gone. Officials explained why an Amber Alert was not issued.
You have to have enough information to be able to tell folks what to look for. We don't even know if there was a vehicle involved. So certainly we don't have a description of a vehicle. So fundamentally, we don't have enough information to put out an Amber Alert.
Charleston police say they're not sure if the mother knows the suspect. She could only provide limited details on what happened, but police insist that it was an unwanted guest and that he wasn't invited inside that house. Back live right now as we take a look outside this house at 2985 Sweetleaf Lane. We still see Charleston police and a heavy police presence along with investigators and a sheriff's office helicopter hovering above this area right here. They're still looking for any type of clue that could lead to the whereabouts of Heidi Todd. Much more coming up on this story tonight at 6 o'clock. For now, reporting live on Johns Island, Bill Burr, ABC News 4.
All right, Bill, thanks so much. We will check back with you a little later in our newscast. We have also gotten reports from people, West Ashley, James, and Johns Island, all saying they received automated calls about the situation. Now, many of you asked about those Amber Alerts.
And there are set guidelines for when an alert should be issued. Those do have to come from the Department of Justice. First, an abduction does need to be confirmed. There also needs to be risk of serious injury or death, and a sufficient description is needed. The child must also be under the age of 17 or younger.
And tonight, community members have organized a prayer vigil for Heidi Todd. It'll be at the dock at Whitney Lake. Again, police said they stopped searching that lake sometime this afternoon. That vigil, by the way, begins at 7 o'clock.
In the meantime, remember that tip line is open for 24 hours. If you know anything, jot this number down. You are asked to call 843-619-6123. Again, that number, 619-6123. We will have that number scrolling for you now at the bottom of your screen.
The FBI is offering a $10,000 reward to anyone with information that leads to her recovery, and a private citizen just added within the last 20 minutes or so another $10,000 reward. So that reward now is up to $20,000.
We've been following this story since it first broke last night. We are working for you, following every development. For updates as soon as they come in, download the ABC News 4 app. You'll get push alerts when we learn new information. It is free for Apple and Android devices.
And developing right now what appears to be a very tragic situation down in Parkland, Florida. A suspect, police say, is now in custody after a shooting at a Florida high school. Officials say there are at least 14 victims of the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Parkland, Florida is just a little bit south and west of Boca Raton. It is in Broward County, about an hour north of Miami. There was video of students pouring out of that school reacting to the news.
Honestly, a lot of people were saying that it was going to be him, stuff like that. We threw a lot of kids threw jokes around like that, saying that he was going to be the one to scoot up the school. But it turns out, you know, everyone predicted it. That's crazy.
Wow, he must have come onto campus then, right?
Yeah, he was on the 3rd floor. He knows the school layout. He knows where everyone would be at as of right now. He's been in his fire drills. He's prepared for this stuff.
The superintendent is calling it a horrific day. We'll continue to update you on this story throughout our newscast.
Also, David Muir will have more on this developing news tonight on ABC World News. That starts at 6:30.
All right, let's turn our attention now to the weather, and our Chris Nessman is joining us with your first look at weather this hour. Chris?
Hey guys, yeah, it started out gray, kind of drizzly, not so nice, and then it's turned out beautiful this afternoon. That allowed temperatures to warm up fairly quickly as well. We topped out right around 70 degrees. So yeah, the folks enjoying the water while it is a little cooler. Atlantic Ocean about 54 degrees right now. Not too bad at all. And you see around the region, a lot of 70s, a little bit cooler up towards Georgetown, 61, 63 Moncks Corner, 66 over in Orangeburg. Again, seeing clear skies, just a few thin clouds, and tonight we're going to stick with the partly cloudy to mostly clear skies, at least for the next few hours. So if you have a night out on the town, it is Valentine's Day. You'll need the jacket, but it's not going to be too bad. Mid-50s for a lot of folks. And then, of course, by this evening, we're going to stick with those partly cloudy skies. We'll have a look at that extended forecast coming up in just a bit.
Chris, thank you. Imagine you look outside your plane window and you see this. The worst fear is a reality for several people today. How they manage, though, to make it to safety.
And next, the community mourning the loss of an activist. We remember Muhyiddin Moye. That's coming up.
Your brain changes as you get older, but Prevagen